These majestic, magnificent animals once roamed freely across the plains of South Africa. Now, they're more likely to be found in captivity or on a trophy wall.
Most of the lions in captivity are being bred for canned hunting.
Andy Reeve has fallen in love with lions and Glengarriff, a reserve set up to look after captive lions in an ethical way.
They're just treating me the way they would their mom. They don't realize that I'm so fragile, but actually they do a bit.
Andy now runs Glengarriff, struggling to find the money to keep it going, fighting lawyers who threaten to sell the land, and protecting her lions from the hunting industry. Can Andy and her friends keep the dream alive? In this episode, a controlled firebreak burn goes out of control.
That was when it all suddenly became like, it's going. Now, oh, okay, there we've gone into this big, thick patch.
A family gathering reveals how little Andy knew about running a lion reserve.
She wanted to have a studio and she wanted to create things and be creative.
And as the financial pressure mounts, will Andy be forced to make a dreadful decision?
It's going to happen next month.
We must sell lions.
No, you won't.
Andy has a serious problem to deal with. The farm vehicle, called a bakkie, is stuck at the village where most of Glengarriff's staff live. They use it to drive to work, which saves them a 30-minute walk. But overnight, someone has tried to steal it and damage the ignition and steering lock. It's undrivable, so mechanics have been called in.
The steering wheel is locked and they can't unlock it, so they can't get the bakkie. That's not just a steering wheel's locked and they can't unlock it. That's somebody's tried to steal the bakkie. That's grooves, it's screwdrivers in there, gaunching it out, and the whole mechanism inside is broken.
Unscrew it again.
Yeah.
It's for four.
Andy must find a cheap way of keeping it going and avoid further costs.
Well, no, it's never going to stay here again.
Oh, I see.
It's going to stay in the lion
Okay,
farm
so that's
every
enough.
single night. That's it. I'm done with this, just spending money for nothing.
Lack of money has prevented any repairs to previously damaged items on the bakkie, like the broken driver's window.
Then we can find around for a windscreen also, a window.
Yeah, young. I've been looking maybe a month and a half, 2 months. Everyone's been looking for me.
There are problems all over the vehicle.
See, this also needs, I remember a while ago I told you I need a bit of panel beating. And we need to try and, if you're phoning around for the window, maybe we should at the same time phone around, because it'll be probably the same guy who's got an old patrol lying around.
There isn't a day goes by when the bakkie isn't being used on Glengarriff.
Today I've got 17 calves to fetch and a cow and 35 breastbuck skins I've got to go and fetch. And if I don't, every single day I don't have this is a disaster. Thanks, sir. Thanks so much for coming.
Any breastbuck for sale?
No, breastbuck. I've got wildebeest.
Only wildebeest.
Yeah, I don't have breastbuck. I oversold last year. And so this year I've got too few. I want them to replenish for next year.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye-bye.
They soon have the bakkie drivable again, but it's a pity Andy wasn't able to sell some game to the mechanic, as it would have helped cover the costs of the call-out.
We have to look after this vehicle, you know. This vehicle is worth not just its cost. The cost of the vehicle is like 600,000, but the value of it to us and being able to fetch carcasses is invaluable. We can't go one day without this vehicle.
Andy is in no position to spend money fixing the bakkie.
Well, I'm going to ask you about accounts this morning.
Volunteer Kathy helps with the accounts and knows how serious the financial situation is.
Done the list, it's over 54,000 Rand this month.
That we owe.
Yeah, so that's that bill.
Okay.
I thought the salary's about that much. And then there's the car insurance.
The total. we're gonna
Okay,
have
put
to
another
put that
10 there.
up.
Each month the debt increases and their options decrease.
If I give you 2,000 Rand and we use that for the diesel canister, because that's for the tractor in case you have a fire.
Yeah.
And then whatever's remaining of the money he can put into the bakkie.
It's going to happen next month.
We must sell lions.
You won't. No. We can't keep doing this. We just can't do this, Andy.
I think what I'm going to do is just carry on per normal. I'll pay. I mean, I'm going to get a bill any moment now for Johan having come out on Thursday. I know you're asking how I'm going to pay for that. I don't know.
Johan is their vet. Andy can spend up to 10,000 Rand, or around $900 on veterinary costs for the lions every month. Some of the lions have been rescued from poor conditions, so they usually need more medical attention than normal. Like Bobo. When he first arrived, he was very thin and riddled with worms and fleas. But he's made good progress in just a few weeks. He's more relaxed now and putting on weight. And Andy has been able to get him to socialize with a young female called Ariel.
Next big move will be to move both of them into a bigger enclosure, because they can't stay here. This is the cub camp. You see the girl? Gonna be a friend.
They may be getting on well, but Ariel's welcome doesn't extend to sharing her meal. Farm manager Tulani decides there's a safer way to get Bobo's food into his enclosure.
I don't blame you. But now she's getting all defensive and she's like, who's this strange lion? Don't come near my food. That's no indication of how she feels, because that's just behavior, normal behavior.
In South Africa, winter is the time of year when the chance of fire increases. Andy goes on a tour of the estate to see how serious the risk is.
We've got all that long grass. We've got much more long grass this year than we usually have, because it rained for many months beyond the normal season. So then the frost comes, kills the grass, and you have a fire hazard. Virtually all the fires that start around are people flicking cigarettes out of their car windows. They just have no idea about the distraction and the expense and just the havoc they cause by throwing their flipping cigarettes out the window. Because if you drive along the highways here now and fire burnings in this time of the year, you just see fire, sometimes little fires, but you'll see they've started next to the road and then they go off out into the veld.
Veld is the South African word for grasslands and uncultivated countryside. Glengarriff is all veld, over 800 hectares of it. Grazing on it are zebra, wildebeest and blesbok. A fire poses much less of a threat to these animals than it does to the lions.
So we're going to first of all do fire breaks around the perimeter of the lion camps, so that if we, that's the most important thing. If we lost veld out there in the other game, the zebra and the buck and all the games, the plains game can run. They can run away from fire, and we'd lose grazing, which is terrible. But if the fire comes into the lion camp, there's nothing we can do. The lions, they can't run away. I believe that they would break through the fence before they would get burnt. But you can't really have lions breaking out of fences and running around. And for one thing, once they're not scared of the fire anymore, they would kill each other. But while there's a fire, they won't. They'll just try and get away. But my plan, and our plan every year, is that we do a big perimeter fire break around the lion camps, which can't burn. So if a fire does come, the chances are that it will stop when it reaches the fire break. You'd think they'd stay away, that they'd be alerted to smoke and fire and that, but they're actually totally curious.
Fire is the other big reason the bakkie has to be up and running. It's an essential part of Glengarriff's firefighting equipment.
So other farms now would have their firefighters on the back of the bakkie permanently now during fire season. We can't, because we've got to use the bakkie for fetching carcasses for the lions. So we've got to only put it on when we need it.
Today is one of those days when they will need it. The grass is so dry that water is essential to keep the fire under control, particularly as there is a slight breeze blowing.
A little concerned about the wind, but their guys seem to still be all right. Once when we were burning at about 7 o'clock at night, the wind suddenly gusted And it's like scary because as the gust comes, the fire just takes off. The flames can be meters high.
As well as the one on the Bucky, Glengariff has a large water tank which is towed behind the tractor. They fill it from the swimming pool while watering the garden at the same time.
See, this is the state of affairs with all our pipes with lions in the garden. You have a sprinkler system with all our pipes.
Sometimes a few of the lions are allowed to roam the garden, and their sharp claws and teeth puncture the pipes. And of course, Andy doesn't have the money to repair or replace them. Eventually, both tanks are full and they can start the burn-off, although now the wind has picked up even more. Coming up, Andy's team lose control of the burn-off.
Okay, this is where the fire goes wrong. The problem, it's out of hand.
Andy and a team of Glengariff staff are about to do a controlled burn-off to create fire breaks around the lion enclosures.
Lucky's job is that he walks with the fire dripper. The fire dripper has petrol in it, and it actually drops drops of petrol, but it's a light at the end. So as it drops each drop of petrol, it drops drops of flame. And he crisscrosses, or actually does a wedge, and he does a wedge of fire, which we put out the long side, and then he'll wedge across there, and they put on the long side. This piece of ground that we're doing now, we're on the inner perimeter, they're on the outer, so we do it, but they're always a little bit further ahead, and then we'll eventually get to a point, they'll be quite far ahead as we turn the corner, and then we come around the corner and catch up.
Matapela is driving the tractor. Her usual job is house cleaner at Glengariff.
Matapela just stepped up, you know. Instead of being a house cleaner, we're going to just drive the tractor and burn fire breaks.
Driving the tractor isn't an easy job.
You've got to go slow, so you've got to keep it. It's like almost playing, you know, clutch control to go so slowly. And your thighs, the amount of strength required. When I drove the tractor for our burn, we started burning at about 5 a.m. and we'd continue to about 8 p.m. My thighs were killing me.
Andy has to do the same thing in the Bucky, driving slowly along with a worker in behind spraying water. However, she's having a problem with the plastic being used as a side window instead of glass.
I can't see a thing. And if I can't see him in the mirror, I can't see him giving me instruction. You know, as we go along, I need to know whether to go fast, to go slowly, to move back, to pause. And if I can't... The guys whistle. When I was driving the tractor when we were busy burning last time, I realized that sometimes we're so enshrouded in smoke, you can't see anything, that they work on a whistle system. They whistle to say, go forward, go fast, stop, whatever, you know.
So far, the fire breaks are all going according to plan. But they hit unexpected problems with the pump on the Bucky.
Why is it cutting out?
A pipe attached to the pump has come loose. Now they're one hose down. All they have is the hose on the tractor, and at the same time, the wind picks up in intensity.
Okay, this is where the fire goes wrong. The problem, it's out of hand. They've lost control.
A sudden gust takes the fire in a different direction towards some trees. If it gets into the tops of the trees, then there's a danger it will catch the wind and spread.
And it's just this little thing like going to... I said to them when we were starting, the wind's blowing this way, so if we should start on that end, so you're burning into the wind instead of with the wind. And then when we got here, Tony was like, no, there's no wind down here. This little wind will help us keep it going.
Andy's lucky that at this time of year, the leaves on the trees are reasonably green, so the tree canopy isn't catching fire. While underneath, the flames are rushing through, so there's only the odd tree that is catching. One tractor hose isn't enough, so Andy calls for some help from neighboring farms.
It came loose from the pump, No, the pipe, where it's attached to the water tank. It came loose from there. But it's like a few minutes of, no, the tractor was busy with its own side. And it didn't seem like a big thing for that moment. It was like, okay, it's breaking out of the boundary a little bit here. And then it just was like, while I was speaking to you, that was when it all suddenly became like, oh, and there it goes, it's going. Now, oh, okay, then we've gone into this big, thick patch, like down a slit, and then that was where it went off.
By the time help arrives, Andy and her team have it more or less under control. It was a close call.
It's a new style of fire break. Our new style of fire break. We decided that straight line down there just... Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming, Yusuf.
Your heart?
No, my heart's fine. It's Tulani's poor heart that's going crazy.
We called a lot of people to come.
Oh, did you?
But we stopped them already, so I've got to go back to my thing now.
The neighbors head back to their farms.
I'm a bit sorry that Leon and Yusuf phoned a whole lot of people for help, because I don't want to have like played my card of people helping me on me messing up a fire break, you know, instead of, I'm embarrassed that it's gone out there like, oh, Andy's doing fire breaks and she's lost control. Because now, I mean, there's no wind, it's perfect. It's a perfect day to burn fire breaks, Tulani. It's perfect. There's no wind. It's a perfect day to burn fire breaks.
Andy's not deterred by the fire getting out of control.
It's just a matter of this bloody hose pipe having popped. And just in those few minutes while our hose pipe wasn't spraying, you know, you've got to have it constantly. So it just came out a bit. And that's when Matapela was saying they need they're like rubber mats, and you hit the fire with the rubber mats. Where are the rubber mats? Because we usually have rubber mats on the tractor, so that in between the water, if need be, she or I stamp with the rubber mats. She was like, well, where's the rubber?
The rubber mats were left behind in one of the sheds. Now back at the lodge, Andy decides they should go out again to finish the job.
But now there's very little wind, so we might just pick up where we left off. I mean, really, there is very little wind.
Before heading out again, they need to fix the pipe on the bucky pump. They don't want a repeat performance and have to call for help a second time. The lighter fuel is replenished, and this time they're taking the rubber beater mats. Their working day would normally have ended by now, but the team know it's important to take advantage of days like this. There's a window of just a few weeks in the year when it's the best time to do controlled burn-offs. The lack of wind, having the rubber beaters to dampen flames, this time it's all going very smoothly. It helps that they've now done this numerous times before and are used to working as a team.
I think I must have been here about 8 months when we did our first fire breaks. But when I think back now about how I felt with them and how they instructed me and like go forward, stop, pause, go, and guiding me and everything, how I felt, I feel in retrospect, it's like, man, we were almost strangers when we did it the first time. And now we're family, you know? Sometimes I just want to say I love them. And I know I'd get into trouble from a lot of the farmers around here saying such a thing. You know, because it's staff and you must maintain the hierarchy and all of that. Which I think may be an old South African thing, you know? A remnant of the old South Africa. My guys are farm workers, but they're so flippin' fabulous when it comes to whatever we have to do. They just know how to do it. We just do it.
Andy's approach to managing her workers is very different from the traditional South African way.
I'm doing it my way, and so far my way is working. I've been doing it now for nearly 3 years, and it's working. And my way is, I lead with a sense of, you know what you're doing, and I respect that you know what you're doing. And then I'll give, guidelines like we need to burn today, or we need to fix this fence today, or we need, what things that we need to do. I'll give guidelines and things, but I don't feel that treating the men who work here like they're children, it's just not my way.
And when she manages to successfully organise challenging tasks Andy's never done before, like burning fire breaks, it's that much more satisfying.
I'm such a fire break snob after the first year, because the very first year that I did the fire breaks was daunting. It was a really daunting task. And out of everything that I'd achieved, even though I raised my first 18 cubs ever in my life and fetched dead cows, which I'd never done before, those first fire breaks were about the biggest achievement to me. It was the thing that made me feel like, oh, God, I did it.
Andy and her team have done it again, despite the setback of the fire going out of control. There's still more firebreak work to do, but that will have to wait. Tomorrow morning, Andy has to leave for Johannesburg. It's Father's Day, and Andy has made the 4-hour drive to Johannesburg to be with her family.
Cheers, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
To the best father that we've got.
Well, given it's the only one you've got.
The family on Andy's father's side came to South Africa in the very early days of colonial British rule.
They came out actually in 1806 because they were en route back from India to England. So they just stopped off for a little skirmish in the Cape.
Yeah, as one does.
Yes, just to keep your hand in.
Andy's father, Martin, is a successful neurosurgeon in Johannesburg, carrying on a long tradition of family members being involved in medicine.
Uncle Ulrich was an orthopedic surgeon, and then my dad was a neurosurgeon.
Your mother was a doctor as well.
Yeah, and for Granny to become a doctor in that time, when,
1942.
That time for a lady to become a doctor was something as well.
And she had a little Model T Ford.
A female in those days driving around in her little car and becoming a doctor and setting off. But her mother was also...
Even with a history of spirited women in the family, Martin and Philippa have been surprised by Andy's commitment to the Lions and Glengareth.
We have seen such a flowering, a blossoming from her, not having a lot of self-confidence, having all these talents that has never been expressed. What we've seen in her adaptation to this challenge of running a lion farm, totally out of her ken, making blind cubs survive, to making big lions happy, to collecting dead cows, running staff, running fences that break or gates that don't work, electricities that fail. She's earned our respect and admiration for all of this in a huge way.
Running a lion reserve wasn't something they could ever have seen Andy doing. She'd previously trained as a midwife and had never expressed an interest in working with animals.
She's found something inside her that none of us knew and she didn't know was there. She wanted to have a studio and she wanted to create things and be creative. That was her dream, was to do beautiful things. But I didn't remember anything veterinary. And then she did the midwifery. That was what I remember her wanting to do, to be creative. And then she found lions. And as I said to her, watch when you approach 40 lives. Some women often come into their own at 40. And as she neared her 40s, this lion thing came her way. And it's so lovely to see her come into her own and her confidence. And her children blossoming, our grandchildren, and it has just been a really amazing experience.
Andy's son Roan has recently come to live on the reserve, but her 2 daughters, Sinead and Tager, have been here since Andy first moved to Glengareth. They go to the local school in nearby Harrismith and have adapted well to living on a lion reserve.
You just hammer it in.
While Andy's away, Tager is showing some school friends around Glengareth.
It's very cool, man.
Because, I mean, where else can you drive 7 kilometers out of town and see lions? That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Not just see lions, but have one virtually at your feet. Ty's been raised from a cub and has free run of the house and open areas.
Why does it put its ears back and tail up?
Well, he's on edge. He's an only child. So we'll wait for him to be old enough to respond to a girl going on heat. And then he'll only ever just be with one girl, female. Otherwise, he'll be alone forever. Yeah, he sleeps with my mum on the bed with a blanket that he eats.
These 5 lions are called the Stars and were the first lions Tega, Sinead and Andy hand-reared. 2 of them are rare white lions.
The white lions were premature and they had like something like a 16% chance of surviving, and we did it because we're cool. And then, yeah, so we raised them all together, the 5 of them. That was hard work. We would take turns to be on night duty, me and my mum, and night duty you literally didn't sleep because if they suck each other's ears, they can suck each other's ears off.
No way.
And so the whole night, like you just, because okay, you feed them every 2 hours for the first 2 weeks. And because they're 5 of them, it takes you 2 hours to feed them. So you're basically constantly feeding them.
Tega shares Andy's belief that lion reserves like Glengariff are necessary as a refuge for badly treated captive lions.
Most of them come from worse circumstances. We don't take them out of the wild. We don't go capture lions that are happily living in the wild. We take lions like Bonnie and Clyde, who were pub cubs and would have died and were left on the side of the pavement to die, and we take them and give them a better life. They can't be put back into the wild, so where do they go other than a place like this?
While Andy's away, Kathy is getting increasingly worried about the financial situation. She's already put all of her personal savings into Glengariff.
Well, the end of the month payments are coming up in about 3 weeks. I guess if push comes to shove, I have a credit card, and if it's a question of being cut off with the electricity, I'll have to put it on my credit card. I've done this a few times before. Fine, I have to. But then I am up to here in debt and muck and bullets, and none of us know what the future brings. And that's when it gets really scary.
The most pressing debt is a huge legal bill for work done in keeping creditors at bay. A debt incurred by Glengariff's original owner resulted in creditors laying claim to the farm and threatening to sell it. And the lions. So far, the lawyers have fought off the creditors, but their work will stop if their bills aren't paid.
And I'm not sure how much longer we can struggle. I guess by the time you're watching this, excuse me, we may not even be here. Can I take a break? And in the end, you sort of think, we've just got to struggle on any way we can, because the alternative is just too awful to think of.
Andy's come back from Johannesburg in time to perform her motherly duties. She watches daughter Tega play an important hockey game for her school. With 3 kids to manage, it's a juggle, especially at the end of the school day when they need to be picked up.
I moved from one kind of crisis to the next. Rowan's playing a rugby match somewhere, I'm not quite sure where. I don't know whether he's playing a rugby match like here or Harry Smith. He has to be fetched from the rugby match. Tega's going to go back in the bus and then needs to get from school home, and Sinead now has been fetched. I'm always like just catching and putting it together all the time. If I were a proper person, like my sisters, I would have this organized. Like everyone would have known in advance what time they finished their matches and who would be fetching them from their matches I'm comparing to my sisters. And they are always, they know exactly where they must be at any given moment and who must be fetched when and where and who needs to eat and that they actually do eat. I mean, I know who needs to eat, I just don't feed them. I just don't make a plan about it.
Back at Glengariff, Andy's got some visitors to show around.
At 5:30 in the afternoon, they start their evening news gossip chat group. And everybody here starts roaring at 5:30. Roaring is not an angry line. Roaring is chatting, gossiping, having a big, like at the end of the day, talking about the day. You see on movies this like opening, in fact I saw one yesterday and they showed a lioness yawning and they had the soundtrack of a roar. They don't open their mouths and roar, they open their mouths and yawn. A roar is like almost more of a trumpet mouth like this. And roaring isn't when they're angry. Hunters don't start jabbering away when they want to attack. A hunter goes quiet. So they have this deep belly and it's very much in the belly. This rumble.
With Andy having been away a few days, the lions are pleased to see her.
Oh, my love.
Some more than others.
Oh, baby. Oh, my baby. The electricity's off. The electricity's off, my big boy. Personalities, really. You know, they have different dispositions. Some are more needy than others. Some are more exactly the same as children, as humans. You know, they're those ones that as soon as you go out of their sight, they start crying and demanding something, or the ones that always want a treat from you. Then they're the others that just get on with things, those that sulk. You know, they each one has their own way. Okay, and here we've got Gabby and her two sons. Gabby's a fantastic mother. I watch her and how she deals with her sons, the way she treats them, how firm she is with them. And I've kind of emulate a little bit. I've learnt quite a bit of mothering, lion mothering from watching Gabby.
Unfortunately, lion mothering skills aren't much use when it comes to an 18-year-old human female.
Mum won't let me take a gap year.
Yeah, because gap years can widen.
Tega is in her last year of school, and Andy is helping her sort out applications for university.
Change from BSc to medicine and then do psychiatry. Or if I like genetics, I could change from that to BSc purely genetics.
Tega's considering studying medicine, following in the footsteps of her successful neurosurgeon grandfather and his medical forefathers. But now she's not sure of what to study, or even whether to go straight to university.
I don't know why the choice between medicine and law.
No, what else? You must say.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I don't know what else.
Potential is a huge burden. To have the potential to be anything, they have the potential to study, to be, you know, Kat Tega's very good academically. You know, I was in a similar position. When I was about 19, 20, I wanted to become an architect. I really would have liked to have done that. And I only realised a little bit too late that I would have loved to have been a surgeon. I really would have loved to have been a surgeon. I'm very precise with my hands. I do very intricate things. I think what put me off being a doctor when I first left school was I'm not nice to people and I don't like to hear their sorry stories. I'm very unsympathetic when it comes to people and their needs and their whining, complaining, snotty soreness. But as a surgeon, they would be under anaesthetic, so I could deal with it.
Having to cope with the never-ending financial problems at Glengariff has made Andy re-evaluate her CV.
In retrospect, I really wish I'd studied something important and done something that used my abilities, because then I would have made money and I would have used the money to do something I love.
Looking at it from one side of the spectrum, there's so many other aspects to being a happy person. Yes, there's success in your career, but then there's also all the other stuff. How much of your father did you see growing up?
Do you think that made him happy?
Tager's caught in the dilemma of how to make lots of money without going down an obsessive career path and being unhappy.
And the only way I can think of a possible solution is to find a rich husband.
Okay, well, there's a reason to go to university.
Yes.
Coming up, can Andy and her team perform a risky nighttime burn-off?
Now here where it's scrappy, it's almost more dangerous where it's scrappy.
It's a peaceful late afternoon on Glengariff Lion Reserve. The wind is down, so Andy calls the fire break team together. She wants to finish off the breaks they started earlier in the week. Andy's learnt from the previous mishap with the pump on the Bucky and make sure everything is in good order before they head out.
Did you get the oil?
Absolutely.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you remember what it was called?
Yes.
What is it called?
It's called petrol oil for the lorries.
No, it's called oil for the water pump for the fighting fires. And the tub of oil is?
20W30. I'm winging it now. I'm winging it now.
Did you get it?
I got a can of oil.
15W40.
15W40. I better go and check before they pour the oil in.
15W40, 5 litres.
I did buy 5 litres.
You got the 5 litres right.
Okay, I'll just go and check this oil before they pour it in and blow up the tractor.
That oil, is it right? It's not 15W40. Not just okay, it's good. It's good. And you're putting it in the firefighting pump. Keep Casey away from your tractor. When it gets into that weed, you're used to the tempo of it burning the grass, and then it gets into this dry weed and it just flares up, and it's much, much hotter than the grass.
If the fire gets into a stand of trees, it becomes harder to control, and it's more dangerous, especially if the trunks or thick branches catch fire. The upper branches of one of the larger trees does catch fire. If it's not brought under control, the fire will spread into neighboring trees, causing a very serious problem. And working into the evening brings added danger. The fire throws out enough light to see what they're doing, but there's the risk that someone might get isolated and be caught unawares by the flames.
So now here where it's scrappy, it's almost more dangerous where it's scrappy, because where it's thick grass, everything just burns and it's burnt. Where it's scrappy, it feels like it's not really burning, and then a little bit catches here and a little bit catches there, you know?
Fortunately, the team know what they're doing. They're on track to complete this firebreak without mishap, and significantly, no desperate SOS calls to neighbours.
People now are beginning to really approve of Glengariff and approve of what we're doing here. And that's fabulous, and we've worked so hard for that. And then you've got the fears and worries about not being able to keep it going. But mostly there's this fire inside of all of us, and this passion that no matter how we do it, we will manage to do it. And I always keep that faith, and Tracy and Andy keeps that faith as well. It's just the odd times like this, the boat starts rocking and everybody's insecurities come out to the fore, and then you just have to pick yourself up, dust down and start again and think, okay, we're at crunch time again, we have to do something. What are we going to do? And somehow or other, for the past 2 or 3 years, we've managed to pull a rabbit out the hat. And I'm sure that this is no different. I've got faith, and I trust that we can make it work one way or another.
In desperation, Andy did manage to pull a rabbit out of the hat. She sold 4 male lions for R1 million. That's almost $90,000 US.
We needed R1 million for the legals. And on that day, this man came, he looked at just those young boys in the one camp and said, I'll pay you R1 million for these boys. And I sat there thinking, right, now what do I do? What position am I in right now? Because those lions, they go to him, and his whole thing, I mean, he never said, what he told me he wants to do with them is he wants their genes. He wants to breed their genes into his gene pools of lions that he's already got. But I'm not going to be naive and think that that's the end of the story. We basically had to decide then, if we let those guys go, they will save the other 60-odd lions here and everything else. And it's, I mean, sitting here now, I'm talking about it, it all seems, you know, that it was a rational thought process and it was just something that flowed. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was the hardest thing in the world.
I think it broke your heart, and I know how much it affected you. But you're right. You have saved the entire farm.
But the difficulties aren't over. The money was used to pay the legal bills, but there's still more debt hanging over their heads. And selling lions spells a significant change for Andy and Glengarriff. It's a step she never thought she would take. What does it mean for the future of Glengarriff, its staff, and the lions? In the next episode, Andy struggles to deal with the aftermath of selling the 4 lions.
Oh, I can't say this because I'm going to break down.
A scientist reveals the results of a recent genetic study into wild lions,
We do have a pretty good genetic diversity in the small reserves.
which forces Andy to question whether she's doing the right thing at Glengarriff.
We've got to have a reason. We've got to have a purpose.